This is Slam Paige Podcast.
Sunday night, October the 23rd, live for us on the Slam Paige Podcast. Once again, we're back to basics this week. Just myself, Travis, and Habiki TMD. Follow us on Twitter at the Habiki TMD. Join the Slam Paige Facebook group and follow the Slam Paige Podcast on Twitter at Slam Paige Podcast. But here alongside me, as always, Michael, welcome back. Last week, things were discussed. I've talked to my people. We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that later.
But welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be back, as usual, on my show.
50-50.
I think the audience is glad as well.
Well, the big post show last week was a success. Everyone's glad to have you back.
Everybody's glad to cut off Logies.
I don't know about all that.
I got some good comments on that.
Thank you to Logan for joining us last week.
Yeah, thanks, Logan, for your input. Just exercising my right to cut you off whenever I feel like it.
We're back from a kind of a sabbatical.
Yeah, we had a little break. You weren't feeling very well.
I was doing pretty horrible
the
past week. But
glad you're better.
I'm better, recuperated. My face isn't swollen and red and broken out, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
But we're here this week. Kind of a dry week in news, Michael.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on. We got a little bit to talk about.
Got really one big story going on this week, but that being said, anything you want to talk about before we get to the show tonight?
Nope.
All right, we got another question from Melanie this week.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
You want to get into Raw? Or you want to get to the little bit of news we have?
Let's just get into some news here.
All right. This week's news and rumors: Billy Corgan has sued since we last aired. Has sued TNA. A lot's changed in that situation. Yeah. It was rumored initially WWE had interest in buying the tape library. Now we're hearing Vince has lost interest. Apparently Corgan is suing TNA and Dixie Carter primarily because of money owed. Like you said earlier to me, like ECW was kind of back in the day, is what this reminds us of.
They're not paying people when they're supposed to be.
Corgan has also put a restraining order on Dixie Carter, which is
I think he's just trying to keep from having any contact with them or them having any contact with him during the legal process.
And it's also so she doesn't sell under his nose. Like, she can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because he would have to co-sign or something. I don't know.
Yippers.
But yeah, this is a mess. This is a complete mess. Now it's rumored, I'm hearing today, breaking news, the Fight Network is interested in bailing out TNA and giving Corgan the money he's owed to just walk away, which smells like there's a cover-up or something. Like, TNA has, on the documents...
Some Hillary Clinton shit.
Yeah. There's, like, the court documents, you can't see that, like, the public, it's sealed right now. But apparently this week, it comes out public if Corgan still wants to pursue suing them. But if he takes the money and walks away, then it's null and void, and we don't find out what these details are.
It basically just depends on what he wants to do. Obviously, Corgan has money. I don't know that I don't even know that it's necessarily about the money to him. I think it's more about the ownership part. I think he's pretty pissed that he kind of got fucked on that part.
Yeah.
We all know Billy Corgan, great musician. I think he has money. I don't know if the money's really going to make him change his mind. I mean, maybe he wants to make light of all this. Maybe he wants to let the world know. Who knows? I hope he doesn't take the money and run. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, I want the skeletons to come out of the closet from TNA.
Sure do. I'm sick of all this covering up in this country. It's getting on my goddamn nerves.
Yeah. All the presidential debates are done.
Yes, they are done.
We're in the home stretch of the election.
Yep, we're not going to talk about that too much because we know across the world, especially in this country, people have different opinions, different votes on who they think should win and why.
I think if Corgan pursues it, it's also a good thing that obviously he'll probably take the reins of TNA and they won't go out of business and he could start it fresh. You know what I mean? So it's two birds with one stone.
And I don't know a whole lot about Corgan as far as a wrestling mind goes.
He's pretty good. He's pretty well schooled in wrestling. He's a huge wrestling fan.
Well, that's good. I mean,
the problem is I don't know how he is as a businessman. To keep it, you know what I mean?
I mean,
could
there's
be
a lot...
genius all day. Like, look at Paul Heyman.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into running a wrestling business. It's a lot more than just liking wrestling.
Paul Heyman's problem was he took on way too much on his own. If you watch his Paul Heyman documentary...
Well, he got too big too quick, I think. I think he got a little too big for his britches, and that cost him money in the long haul.
I would say that's definitely one of the WWE documentaries we could both highly recommend. That Paul Heyman one was
Paul
excellent.
Heyman DVD was very good.
So check that out if you haven't seen it. But that's what's going on with TNA. A complete mess. We'll see what happens before the next show.
Let us know what you guys think about the whole situation with the Corgan lawsuit, with TNA possibly going out of business very soon. Also, WWE was in...
How many times have we said that, you think, on this show? Like, TNA is like a fucking cockroach.
Yeah.
You just can't kill it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't know how they're staying afloat, but rumor has it that they are very, very close to being rock bottom done. So,
It's a shame because it's all mismanagement.
it really is. But obviously, there's rumors going around. WWE was in talks with possibly buying their library. But from what we were told, it has fallen through as far as talks. But honestly, if Vince really wanted it, he probably would just go get it.
Yeah.
So obviously, he's waiting for whatever's going on here to
I was
subside.
actually kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
Being on the network.
I was excited I would just like him to buy the whole company. I think it would just add more depth to the roster.
He'd put it under though. A lot of guys would lose their jobs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying bring them all over. You know what I mean?
No, you need that competition. Competition's good.
But you bring the high marquee talent over. Maybe some of the mid-card talent goes down to NXT to bolster that roster even more.
I just think if they would take Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, it would have to be in the gimmick they're doing now because they're one of the hottest things in wrestling.
Yeah.
And what worries me is I don't think WWE would do that. I think they would make them nostalgia Hardys.
It's not very WWE friendly as far as
Yeah.
their gimmick right now.
Their
I don't
gimmick's
see,
so out there.
they already have a Bray Wyatt. You know what I mean? So.
Or we could see the Wyatts and the Hardys. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be something.
Definitely.
That could be like a dream thing.
Because there's no way they would go to NXT. If they came back, they would go to the main roster.
Yeah, there's no way that they're already proven WWE guys. It's not like
Or WWE champion's going to go to
Yeah.
NXT.
yeah. I mean, you got Jeff Hardy, a former champ. You got Matt Hardy, a former U.S. champ.
Well, Matt's been an ECW champ, a
Yeah.
TNA heavyweight champ,
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, some title, I think television title.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah.
those two would definitely be on the main roster. But other guys like EC3, maybe Eddie Edwards, stuff
They would
like
go to
that,
NXT.
they would go to NXT.
I could maybe see EC3 getting shot up, but that's a long shot. But I could see it.
With his disdain for WWE, that's
could
the only
never see him going
problem.
back.
That's the problem with EC3.
A lot of those guys have burned their bridge. I don't think Lashley will ever go back. He left on bad terms.
Well, with his schedule and everything, with him doing Bellator and that, I don't think it would work very
Shout out
well.
to Bobby Lashley's successful win
Yeah.
this past week.
Earned
by the way.
himself a title shot
Yeah.
for the Bellator belt.
Think he's going to do it? Mike's MMA session this week real quick.
It's Bobby Lashley to me is a very boring mixed martial arts fighter. He's very one-dimensional. He's a wrestler that takes you down and just lays on top of you, lands a few shots, and gets a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
He's not a finisher. He should be, you would think, by his body type and his skill set.
Yeah.
But he's just not. And it falls into the same kind of Brock Lesnar category where Brock Lesnar has gone, like with his last fight. Yes, he dominated that fight, but he didn't finish it. He basically laid on top of Mark Hunt and got the decision.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, I'm not excited to watch Bellator ever because Bellator I think is trash.
It's worse than Strikeforce.
It's like the TNA of MMA.
It's like
basically.
Strikeforce wasn't even that bad. It was like the WCW
Yeah.
of MMA.
Yeah.
But this is like the TNA.
Yeah, it's
And it airs after TNA. It did.
yeah, it's usually over the hill former UFC guys and people that have no business. Like they're already in
Kenny Shamrock fight for Bellator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He fought the late Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
Also, there's rumors of Greg Hardy, the former NFL player, joining Bellator.
Huh.
He has no fight background at all, but he wants to do MMA now because no NFL team will touch him because he's trouble, and that's just that.
Yeah.
I want to know how he's going to pass the drug test, but it's Bellator. Their drug testing isn't quite as strenuous.
Just like TNA's.
Yeah. So,
Or if they're at all.
but that's we do have a big UFC event coming up within the next couple of weeks. UFC 205. Also, another big announcement. I don't know if you heard about this, Travis. Ronda's coming back.
Yep.
Ronda
She's
will be
coming
back for 207.
And her opponent.
Is the champ. She's fighting for the strap.
She's
Amanda
going back-
Nunes.
Going back for
The
it.
new champ in that women's bantamweight division is Amanda Nunes. She's going to be fighting Ronda Rousey. Rumors are Ronda's going to come back, probably going to win the belt from Nunes, and then that's going to set up a Cyborg fight who's been in the UFC for a few months now, had a couple fights. It's going to set up, finally, the Ronda Rousey Cyborg showdown.
Cyborg Justice.
Yeah.
You think if Ronda doesn't win, she's done?
Yeah, absolutely. If she doesn't win this fight, she's done. But that's just my opinion. But coming up, we have Conor McGregor on 205 coming up in a couple weeks fighting for the lightweight belt. He's already your featherweight champion. He's trying to win the lightweight belt now against champion Eddie Alvarez. That's your main event. Also, you have two more titles on the line. Welterweight champ Tyron Woodley will be taking on... yeah,
Cool name.
yeah, Tyron Woodley, that's his name.
I don't know my UFC really anymore.
He'll be taking on the young upstart Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. They call him Wonder Boy, and he does come out to that music.
What, Tenacious D?
Yep.
Nice.
He does come out to that music. Also,
That's seriously what I first thought when I heard that.
the other women's division, the women's strawweight division, the 115-pound division, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, that's a very tough one to say, will be defending her belt as well.
Well, let's not run down the whole card because we're a wrestling show.
I know, but we get into other stuff, guys.
But isn't the Ronda fight's going to be really interesting?
Yeah, that'll be in December. So
would you ever pay for a Bellator fight? Show?
No. That's why it's on TV.
Yeah.
Nobody would.
Paige has proposed herself to Alberto Del Rio.
That's weird.
During a match in Carlos Colon's promotion last weekend.
Also, yeah, I heard about that, but did you also hear that Del Rio also purchased an MMA company?
I heard he bought a restaurant. I didn't know
he bought a Mexican wrestling or a MMA company.
Oh, nice.
I forget the name of it, but he just purchased that not long ago. He's now the president of it, so he's going to be running that as well.
I'll tell you what, when he won the WWE title years ago, he must have got a good payday. Because where's all this money coming from? I'm sure he did well in Ring of Honor.
Well, U.S. dollars probably translate pretty well.
True. Yes, she proposed in ring. Yeah, what's he going to do? Say no? She kind of put him on the spot to begin with, but
what kind of woman does that?
It's just
what would you do if a woman proposed marriage to you?
This whole thing has been weird from the get-go. First of all, the stabbing. He was well enough to wrestle already. Yeah. We don't know if she stabbed him, if they made it up. We don't know what the fuck's going on with that to begin with. Everything's been weirder and weirder week after week.
Yeah.
Paige's dad, I don't know if you've ever seen a documentary on Paige's family.
No.
They're all wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad's a wrestler in England. Her mom was a wrestler. She's wrestled her mom.
She wrestled her mom?
Yeah. It's on YouTube. Check it out. But her family's not happy. Her dad posted on Facebook something to the lines of she will not marry that man and the truth will come out. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
The truth, and then he later deleted it off Facebook. I'm stuttering this week. Sorry.
We'll let you slide.
He deleted it off Facebook later in the week.
Don't make me use my cutoff on you, though.
You don't get a cutoff. Now, you want to go over the papers now?
I'm just letting you know that's still in the contract. But step up your game here. Come on.
But Michael, this is a weird situation, and they're engaged. You got to think she just threw her career away, for the most part.
Well, I mean, I think we all...
She's failed 2 drug tests.
I think we all know that she's on her way out.
And she's always going to have those 2 strikes in the company. She's only 24. They'll always be there lingering.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's her fault.
It's sad, really.
This whole thing is a shame. 2 very talented talents just not use their full potential and going off the rails, kind of.
I think she definitely fell in with the wrong crowd, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
we don't know any specific. We don't know anything for sure.
We also do forget sometimes that she's a real person and she's 24.
Have you seen?
And she's been wrestling since she was 15.
Yep, her whole life.
So I mean, she hasn't really had the chance to really experiment in life, let alone anything else.
Have you seen pictures of Paige recently with Del Rio in public? She looks pretty bad. She looks thinner,
drugged out,
a little bit. She just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
In recent pictures I've seen.
Well, that sucks.
But we don't know any details, like we said. But if her family says the truth will come out, I'm sure it will.
I don't know what that means.
Who knows? That could mean anything.
That's some Bray Wyatt shit.
We do know they do not approve of the marriage. They do not like Del Rio. He's so much older than her.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, how old is he?
Yeah, he's pushing 40, if he's not 40 already.
I mean, I know a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't mean anything. They're both adults, I don't know. You think when he was, graduating high school, was she even in school yet? So that's kind of weird, but whatever.
But I mean, if this is all legit, someone really was stabbed and they're in love. Happy for him, I guess.
All it takes is somebody getting stabbed to get married, I see.
This reeks of fishiness, the whole thing. So many loopholes, and I don't
fishies.
know. But yeah, we'll see where it goes, Michael. We'll see where this goes. A lot of rumors at the Royal Rumble this year, which has been announced in the Alamo Dome.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to sell it out. 20-year anniversary of 97. Shawn Michaels versus Sid. Michael, what do you remember of that Royal Rumble pay-per-view from the Alamo Dome? First, they announced it at 70,000. I think on record they only sold 30,000 seats.
That's what they sold, and then they comped a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't even think there was 7. I don't even think they announced that. I think the announced attendance for that was 50-some.
50-some, yeah.
I want to
early 97, not a good time business-wise.
But they were basically promoting it as a 70,000 seat event, and they didn't sell that many. And I heard that something like over 10,000 seats were comped.
Yeah.
So just to try and fill it up some. But I remember the I didn't think it was a bad pay-per-view.
Not one of the better, though.
No, but I remember a lot about that event. I've watched it a lot. That's kind of my bread and butter as far as wrestling time period goes.
A lot of guys from
Goldust.
AAA on this pay-per-view.
You had a lot of Mexican guys on this.
Because of the area.
Yeah, and you had Goldust and Triple H started it out. I remember that.
And a long, drawn-out match.
Intercontinental title, I believe.
Curtis Hughes.
Yeah, Mr. Hughes made his only appearance as Triple H's manager.
But yeah, the rumor is that 20 years later, Shawn Michaels may be coming back to challenge for the title against AJ Styles in a dream match that everyone wants to see. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Michaels is sticking to his guns. He's done.
Yeah, I think it definitely ran its course with him. How many times can he come back and still be at a good enough game to wrestle for a belt?
I don't think it's even that. I think it's his only time he's officially retired, so he wants to make it.
Michaels in his 50s now, so I mean,
he looks every bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it's not like he's been like hitting the gym hard and stuff like that.
Well, he did come out at Mania in his gear. He looked all right.
Yeah,
he looks like he could still go. I'm sure he could.
Old Captain High Pants.
Captain High Pants.
So he's got to pull him up over his belly button. They just keep getting higher and higher over the years.
Comes with age.
Before you know it, they're going to be up to his chin.
Well, I guess James Ellsworth would never have that problem.
No. But I honestly, 10 years ago, I would have loved to see this match.
I'd love to see it now.
Because,
I think HBK
HBK was still prominent in the business back then. He was working at a very high level, and so was AJ Styles. Back then, AJ Styles was in TNA tearing it up. So, I mean, his feuds with so many people in that company were tearing it up at the same time Shawn Michaels was doing his thing as somebody that's much older but still could go with anybody.
Is AJ Styles this era's Shawn Michaels? Compared to anyone else they have, the closest they have. You could say Ziggler, too, I think.
It's hard for me to compare anybody to Shawn Michaels. It really is. But I know a lot of people tend to do that with Styles just because of the way he works, his style, stuff like that. But there's only one HBK.
I think I meant more like reliability-wise, like always delivers, gets better with age, like that type of wrestler. Not like he's like the sexy boy gimmick or something.
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean. It's just...
I think he probably is the closest to what they have in that on the roster right now.
Well, but as far as guys that have been in the business for a long time, I would probably put him as the closest one.
He's had 2 solid 3-star matches the past 2 weeks with a no-name.
Yeah.
For Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
James Ellsworth.
He can get in there and work with anybody.
Shout out to Melanie, our listener. We got a question from Melanie related to James Ellsworth. We're going to answer that question later in the show. Unless you want to knock it out now.
We'll wait for later on that.
Yeah, but man, I'd love to see this match. I'm not going to lie. I would love it if it's true, but I really don't think it's true.
I don't see it happening.
I think everybody should calm down a little bit.
Can't we find some other Texan to come back and wrestle? God.
Austin?
That'll never happen.
Yeah.
Especially not with a guy like AJ Styles.
Stan Hansen?
Isn't he dead?
He's not.
Should be.
JBL? I'm just going to name off every Texan. Mark Henry?
God, no. Please not Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Not even like the crowd would be The Undertaker.
Yeah.
He's from Texas.
I'd like to see Taker and Styles, but I don't think Taker can't go. Apparently, he's on crutches. It's rumored lately.
He needs to be done soon.
I think he is. I think one and done.
It better be big. Rumors of him and Cena.
Yeah. Is that the match though? You want to see him run off in the sunset?
Well, not really, but it's the match that everybody's been kind of waiting for at WrestleMania that hasn't happened. And now that he's lost at WrestleMania,
what does it mean now exactly?
Yeah.
You know.
So I think if anything, I think it's good that it wasn't Cena that did it. God help John Cena if he ended his streak. I mean, Brock Lesnar got away with it because he went away. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was constantly there and annoying. Yikes.
God help WWE because the fans would shit all over the product.
Oh, my God.
I thought the Royal Rumble was bad when they booed Batista out of the building.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that's the news this week. Let's get right into this week's Raw review. Monday Night Raw, the ratings were up, Michael, for the first time in weeks. That being due to the big name on this show, the return of the man. The man!
Goldberg.
Go, boy.
Goldberg.
He's back.
He is back.
Got a great reaction. This couldn't have gone any better, I would say.
Yeah, that's the biggest pop he's ever gotten in WWE.
Yeah, that's after 12 years, he's back, Michael, to answer the challenge of Brock Lesnar, to accept or whatever. They're going to have the match eventually. Crowd was jacked. Goldberg.
You think he looked really old I don't think he really looked that much different. It's just he had a gray goatee.
Yeah.
That's,
Just dye the facial hair.
I mean, he definitely isn't as jacked as he used to be, but
he was also wearing a members only jacket, so you couldn't really tell.
Was he the last member? Is that why he's still wearing it?
Probably. Well, I wouldn't make fun of him to his face about it.
I would. I don't give two shits.
You would, and then you get speared.
Whatever.
What's the worst, like, hardest hitting spear you've ever seen Goldberg do, if you remember? I'd have to say against Raven in that title match before he fought Hogan on the same show. That was brutal.
I saw him do the one he did to Humorous.
Yeah. Wasn't there one to Christian?
Yeah.
It was awful. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Sorry, Hugh Morris.
Bill DeMott.
Yeah. Sorry, Bill.
Fired.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss.
Michael, what do you think about this? He's back after 12 years. This whole Brock Lesnar Goldberg thing. Let's get right into it. Are you excited to see this match?
Well, I watched them wrestle the first time at WrestleMania.
I think we all did, unfortunately.
And it was total shit. So the fact that they decided 12 years later, hey, let's redo this match. Why in the fuck would you put these two guys together again? Like, you've already seen it be a total shit fest. Both of them are much older now, especially Goldberg.
Maybe they think they're going to redeem themselves.
How are they going to redeem themselves? They were still... I mean, Goldberg was still... He was approaching the end of his prime, but Brock Lesnar was in the middle of his prime when they had their first match, and it sucked.
Yeah.
It was sloppy, it was boring.
The crowd had a lot to do with that. I think the crowd threw both guys off, but neither guy really a ring general or a technician.
It was a total shitfest bore match. I mean, what did they really do in this match?
Yeah.
And it's going to be the exact same style of match. You're going to see a bunch of suplexes from Brock Lesnar, then you're going to see Goldberg hit 3 moves, and then it's going to be the match. It's going to be a lot of rest holds, a lot of staring at each other. It's just going to be really boring.
I think it's going to go off a lot better in this era, though, because that happened at WrestleMania 20. That show had so many big-name stars on it. The Rock, Austin, everyone was on that show.
Now, granted, that everybody already knew that Lesnar was leaving the company, which made it, not so good for as far as the crowd.
Well, that's why the crowd shit on the match.
And everybody kind of saw that Goldberg was on his way out. I think he left. Was that his last match?
Yes.
Yeah.
But their last match.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much, well, why the fuck are we watching this? You know what I mean? These guys are gone. So, the only thing that made the match interesting was Stone Cold.
Yeah, and he stunned them both at the end.
Yeah,
got a big
he
pop.
made them both look like
Goldberg
shit.
was never over in WWE at that time.
He was. I thought he was over when he first got there.
But then it just went away suddenly.
It went away. I think if they'd have given him the belt a month sooner than they did, it would have gone over a lot better.
They should have done it at that Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's what everybody wanted. They wanted him to win, but Shawn Michaels got it.
Yep.
So
no, Triple H retained, I thought, with that one, because it was Evolution. You're thinking of the first one, Shawn Michaels won. The second one was SummerSlam, Goldberg was in.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, but they should have done it then, and by the time they did it, it like a B pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yep.
And I don't think it's going to be any better now than the first match they had.
I think the crowd will treat it better now, like I said, because of the era we're in. We don't have a lot of stars, and quite honestly, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the roster.
Exactly. And that's the bad part. I mean, look at the style of wrestling now.
Yeah.
And look at the style that these two work.
It'll probably be Brock suplexing him a million times, and then Goldberg just doing a comeback with the spear.
I think he could. Did you see he could barely get his damn kid up on his shoulders at the end of that speech?
I saw that.
How's he gonna get fucking Brock Lesnar up for a jackhammer?
I'm interested to see this just because of the spectacle.
His fucking 10-year-old kid looked like he weighed 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Christ, he tried to lift him up over his shoulders. He looked like he was gonna give himself a heart attack.
Goldberg's all about the kids.
Yeah, well, that's why he's back, because of the product now. He said that's why he left to begin with.
Yep.
The product was not agreeable with him. He wanted a more family-friendly product. Now that it is, he's back. So, plus, I think they're teasing him to go into the Hall of Fame.
Which I think is bullshit. I think he left because when he got to WWE, he thought he was going to be the big dog in the yard. He was going to be the man again, and he got here with people that were bigger than him, and he realized he wasn't. You know what I mean?
They still gave him the belt.
Yeah, but they took it off in like a month or two. You know what I mean?
To set up the thing with Brock.
Same, you know.
I mean, if you remember, that's how the storyline started. Brock cost him the belt.
Yeah.
So, to me, I just think he's back because it's a more family-friendly product, and he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Well, and WWE's desperate for bigger ratings.
Yeah. I mean, and the sad part is that's probably going to be the main event.
Yeah. Oh, you know it's going to be. If it's going to be Orton and Lesnar, it's going to be Orton or Goldberg and Lesnar, definitely.
And that's going to be terrible.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
After all the other matches that are going to go before that, then they're going to have this. The crowd's probably going to be exhausted for one. And two, this match is going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah. Probably right.
To be honest. And I don't see Lesnar winning. I really don't.
There's reports that this was apparently supposed to be a one-shot deal with Goldberg, but Vince is apparently interested due to the ratings and the crowd reaction for more matches for Goldberg. So we'll see.
I hope not.
I don't know what Goldberg wants to do with his career. Now, if Goldberg comes back and what if the match goes off without a hitch and it's great? Where do you stand?
What are you smoking?
I'm just saying.
What have you been putting?
Anything's possible.
You've been getting some different stuff? Because you sound nuts.
Anything's possible.
It's not possible. It's not. It's not possible at all. Lesnar has started to look like shit, as far as I think, in the past few months.
All he does is suplex.
I think it's just boring, repetitive shit with him. And Goldberg was never even a 3-star worker. So I don't know how this is going to be any kind of good match. If they were going to have this match, they should have done it at this pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, where it could be a bloody...
Dude, already.
Yeah, it could be like a brawl. They could be on the outside, bloody, all that stuff. That would be the only way this match goes over well.
I'm thinking Survivor Series. They're probably going to have
That's when they're going to have it, yeah. But I think it would have gone over much better at this pay-per-view if they had it in Hell in a Cell.
Put as many gimmicks in the match as you can to hide the fact that
they're not going to wrestle very well together.
Yeah.
So instead of just having a one-on-one match in a ring, it's going to go over terribly. So
Goldberg came out, cut a promo, basically a welcome back promo, build up the match. That was that. That closed the show this week. Other end of the spectrum, the top guy, quote unquote, talking about sparkle crotches. You got a big jacked up guy coming back to kick some ass, and then you got old sparkle crotch jokes. Seth Rollins insulting Chris Jericho by calling him sparkle crotch. This was cringeworthy. I thought this was terrible. This was just typical WWE shit writing. If you're going to book a guy...
At least call him Sparkle Dick. You don't have to say crotch.
Do something. I mean, if you're going to take a guy who's red hot right now and kind of book him like a Steve Austin, a rebellious guy, don't have him making corny jokes. Don't make him bad on the mic. And Rollins has just been corny. I'm sorry. It just hasn't been good.
I agree.
I'm not really that invested in the match with Owens for the title. The build-up has kind of sucked.
Yeah, it almost seems like they haven't even had a build-up with him and Owens. It's been like Jericho's been almost the main focus of this whole rivalry.
It's been the comedy hour with Jericho, Owens, and
Seems
Rollins.
like Jericho's getting over more in this rivalry than the other two.
Which I think is going to lead to Jericho being a babyface again.
Well, I definitely see a split with him and Kevin Owens. They're definitely teasing that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm excited for the match just because I think it's going to be a great match. I'm excited for Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell.
Rumors that the women may be headlining Hell in a Cell for the title, Michael. Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
Thrilled. Again? How many times do we have to watch women headline an event? I don't want it to come off as sexist, but this is a Hell in a Cell match. You have Sasha Banks as your champion. She weighs what, 100 pounds?
Yeah.
What kind of great Hell in a Cell match can you have with someone who weighs 100 pounds?
I don't know. Maybe they'll have a good match.
And Charlotte weighs what, $140? Maybe a little more than that because she's really tall.
Why did they even put this in the cell?
Yeah, I don't understand the point of this. It's not going to go over well as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand why we have to have all these matches in the cell. I was so happy when they got rid of this pay-per-view the first time.
Yeah, because it's just like the TLC pay-per-view. Every match is a ladder match.
Yeah, it just gets repetitive. I don't
think
the
crowd doesn't react by the end of the show.
It's how many good Hell in a Cell matches can you have in one night?
I'm at the point, why do we even have cage or cell matches in an era where we're not allowed to bleed?
Yeah.
The reason the cage or cells there is to enhance the match with blood, to add to the rivalry.
Well, the Hearts proved that you could have a match like that without blood.
Yeah, but that was the Hearts.
Yeah, that's different time period.
That storyline was so emotionally driven with Brett and Owen that it didn't really need blood as an add-on. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
I just don't get why we even have the cage matches. For one, I think they're outdated, kind of.
If you were going to bring back one kind of gimmicky pay-per-view, for me it would be Elimination Chamber.
That's breaking news. They're bringing that back. I just read that today also. Thank you for reminding me.
That's the one I would have brought back just because I thought those matches, you could have those all night for all the belts that they have.
Yeah.
You could have those matches all fucking night.
It's coming back. So
You know what I mean?
Your wish is granted that fast.
But as far as Hell in a Cell and TLC goes, do we really need to do every match like that?
No, just have your main event or co-main event both. Not even 2 matches.
Yeah, it's just, it's too much. Too much.
Too much of a good thing.
So
I love ham, but if I'm fed ham every day, 3 times a day,
you're going to get sick of it. You're going to want some turkey.
I'm going to want some birthday cake eventually.
Yeah,
something
or some
else.
birthday cake. Fucking fat kid.
That was Raw pretty much this week, Michael. Neville lost to Bo Dallas.
Clean.
1, 2, 3. Returning Bo Dallas.
Yeah, and Bo Dallas even teased a return with the Social Outcasts.
Yeah.
He had Curtis Axel with him, and I believe he turned on him at the end of this match because he's the only one that can leave in Bo. So I like Bo Dallas's character now. It's more aggressive.
It's more serious.
Yeah, it's a little more serious. It's still kind of funny.
The singlet's got to go.
Oh God!
If you want to be taken
What are you going to put him in?
Put him back in his little undies that he came out with. Put him in clothes then. Just put him in pants.
Put him in something else.
Put him in sweatpants.
No undies, no singlets. Okay?
No undies.
Yes. Bo Dallas is built like you and I. It's not good in a singlet or undies.
I think the last major thing that happened on Raw this week, Michael Moore, the Roman and Rusev build up.
Rusev finally went over in a little skit.
He did.
He finally destroyed Roman.
Bringing up Rusev's family.
Yeah.
Pictures of his family.
Yeah.
Roman came out and got his little ass kicked.
Roman got smacked and then kicked and then beat. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, I guess that was Raw. Let's go right this Sunday, Michael. Hell in a Cell.
I think we should do a promo break first.
Want to get a promo break in?
Let's get it in.
All right.
It's your turn.
You want me to take it?
Yep.
This week's first promo break from me. Going classic. Rest in peace. Roddy Piper on the Slam Pigs podcast. How can you go wrong with that?
All right. I agree.
What, any specific Piper promo you liked? We did the bologna sandwiches promo. That's a classic.
Did we already did the coconut?
We have never done the
with Jimmy Snuka?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, let's get that one in there.
All right. We'll be right back.
Piper's Pit.
Take us out.
This week's promo break, Piper's Pit with Jimmy Snuka. We'll be right back here on
Murderer.
On Murder? We'll be back here on Murder. Are you talking about Jimmy Snuka like that?
I couldn't.
We're not trying to get lawsuits here, Travis. I think you and I are going through enough legal battle with you and I. I don't think we need somebody else suing the both of us.
Stick around, more than that to come, guys.
When we come back,
a lot of you guys have been asking about. Plus, people are asking about Logan's role in this. He's brought up some paperwork.
Yeah, I don't understand that. We'll get to that later. Logan's kind of like a fly on the wall here.
It's Roddy Piper.
Very simple. All of a sudden, we got a bunch of people writing in. This guy here comes, I don't know, maybe comes sniveling to the people, comes and cries, Roddy Piper didn't give me a chance to say nothing on the pit. Roddy Piper didn't give me a chance to do nothing. You want a chance? Everybody wants to be like Roddy Piper. You want a chance? You want a chance to say something, brother? I'll tell you what, man. Here you go. Take the little microphone. There you go. There you go. Put it in the little greasy paws. You want to do something, then you go ahead. You say exactly what you want to say to these people. You can do. Just a second. I want you to, wait a second. I want to make you feel at home. Before we start, you want to be the big shot. You want to do all the talking. You want to really think. All these people. Got yourself a pineapple. Want you feel at home. Want you feel like the Fiji Islands. Kind of like the women, you know? Kind of long, frosty hair on top, round on the bottom. Got your pineapple. You want to be a happy person? What do you want, huh? What do you want? You want bananas? You want to talk? Go ahead and talk, huh? Go ahead and talk. Wait a second. Wait. You want bananas? You want bananas? We got bananas. Here we go. You want bananas? Have yourself a banana. Huh? This is what you want. You want to talk? You ain't saying nothing. What's wrong, huh? You want to come up here like a big shot? What do you want? You want coconuts. Here I went. I got your coconuts. Just like, there you go. One coconut. Two coconuts. More coconuts. You want to be a big shot. You want to go, wait a second. Bananas and coconuts. You want to be a big shot. You know what? The only thing I didn't get a tree for you to climb up and down like a monkey, like you want to do. You want to be a big shot? I'll get you a tree next time. You want a banana? Have a banana. What do you want, man? You think? Am I making fun of you? Whoa. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
And we're back. That was Roddy Piper with some fruit.
Yeah!
What was that from?
I get excited. That's from the Bologna Sandwiches promo. My little yeah.
Do it one more time for our listeners.
Yeah!
Roddy Piper, rest in peace, man. He's going to be
Breaking
missed.
coconuts on Jimmy Snuka.
I'm still not over the hot rod leaving us far too soon.
And Jimmy Snuka possibly going to prison for quite a while.
I met Roddy Piper at a convention once. One of the nicest wrestlers I ever met.
He almost put you out.
He almost cinched in that sleeper for that picture.
I have that. I see that picture. Yeah, it looked like you were about to go out.
Maybe I'll throw it up on the video.
Yeah.
You guys can see Roddy Piper nearly killing me.
Well, you asked for it. He put it on.
You asked for it, you got it. Before we get into the Hell in a Cell predictions this week, guys, we talked about Raw. Not a lot to say about SmackDown, just a few things. One of them kind of segues into our question this week. James Ellsworth had a WWE title shot, Michael, against AJ Styles.
Yes, since we've been going, there's been a big revolution.
We have not had a chance at all to talk about James Ellsworth. Let's start at the genesis of James Ellsworth. He was a jobber for Braun Strowman, and he became an internet sensation with the memes, all his picture everywhere. It was ridiculous. Out of the blue, Dean Ambrose brings back James Ellsworth a couple weeks ago and gets a pinfall victory over AJ Styles, 1, 2, 3 kid style.
With the help of...
the help of Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, in the record books, Ellsworth is your victor.
So then on Talking Smack, Mr. Daniel Bryan let us all know that James Ellsworth would be receiving a title shot on this week's SmackDown.
Now, guys, if you haven't seen James Ellsworth, kind of picture a skunk in wrestling undies. Kind of picture Pepe Le Pew as a white man with no chin at all, literally no chin. He has no chin to the effect of his finisher's called No Chin Music.
Yeah, kind of built like a fat Jamie Noble.
Yeah.
If you look at him. Fat Jamie Noble in undies.
I liked it. I liked this for what it was. Before we get into that, Michael, our question this week was from Melody.
He got another win. He didn't win the belt. He won by DQ this week.
He's still undefeated against AJ
Styles. 2-0
Styles.
against AJ Styles.
Our question is from Melanie this week once again. Melanie, thank you for your question as always. Thank you for listening. Always send us a question for the most interactive pro wrestling show on social media, on YouTube. But her question is, what is this James Ellsworth crap? Pretty much her exact words. I don't get why everyone is so invested in this. Pretty much is the extent of her question. I don't have the question in front of me, but that's the gist of it. She doesn't understand why James Ellsworth is getting the TV time when they have talent like Orton, Bray Wyatt, blah, blah, blah. Michael, do you want to take this one first?
Well, I think you and I could both that was probably our first reaction to this whole this whole little story. What the fuck? Pretty much. I guess the WWE was trying to go with a little shock value since they have changed back to sort of a jobber style show from time to time. They have some of their up and coming talent going against jobbers every week.
Yeah.
I think they went for shock value here.
They just couldn't help themselves. It went like 3 months and they had to let a jobber have a win.
Yeah.
They couldn't have that just go normal, you know what I
No.
mean? It's like, God, they had to have it.
And it was shocking when I saw it, but to be honest, I'm done with it. It's run its course already with me.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I mean, I could see him coming back for the Royal Rumble.
I can see him in the Rumble.
Yeah, as a surprise entrant, or kind of like a filler gets in there, gets knocked out in 5 seconds by Braun Strowman or something. But yeah, that's
Not
pretty
even
much the extent of it for me. I feel you, Mel.
I mean, did you hate it? Did you like it?
I didn't.
Was it entertaining?
It was entertaining for what it was, but I definitely don't want it to go on any longer.
Yeah. What makes these jobber things special is that they don't last long and they don't happen often.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't see this.
But the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Barry Horowitz, they kind of stuck around for a while.
Those are the two big ones back in the day.
Yeah.
The two biggest. Now, I would say the greatest jobber win of all time is the 1, 2, 3 Kid beating Razor Ramon on Raw.
That's definitely the most memorable. I think that was that the first Raw?
That was like in the springtime.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of the first Raws.
No, it's right before Razor turned babyface against Ted DiBiase.
DiBiase.
Sorry.
His name is DiBiase.
DiBiase.
Don't disrespect $1 Million
Hey,
Man.
50-50. I can make up names on the fly. You can
No,
do it all
you
night
can't-
long.
That's not
Herman R. Shyster.
It's Irwin.
Just saying.
Get it right. It's not HRS. God,
Bobby and Art Gunn.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. I don't know. I enjoyed this. I thought it was entertaining, but like I said, it's got to end now. The bloom's off the rose already. His T-shirt's the hottest selling thing right now, apparently.
It's outselling Goldberg apparel.
Which is, I don't even know what kind of world we live in right now. What's interesting about James Ellsworth, he's from around here. He wrestles for MCW. He's from the Baltimore area. So local boy for us.
All right, way to go, Ellsworth.
Glad that's our representation.
Wonder if Logie's knows him.
Maybe he's interviewed James Ellsworth before.
He was probably their former champ.
Knowing Logan, he probably has.
Probably.
But shout out to Logan for joining us last week. Next week, maybe we'll have some bagels. We'll see who we get. Maybe we'll just be old school again.
Post show next
Post
week.
show.
That brings us in to our prediction show this week.
Well, Melanie, thank you for your question once again.
Okay.
And next on my format for Hell in a Cell is Kurt Hawkins as far as SmackDown.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I got jumped the gun a little bit there.
You got to
guys.
get your Kurt Hawkins in.
I know. Kurt Hawkins obviously has been teasing this debut for a few weeks now.
Awful.
And not that anybody cared to begin with, but they've kind of given him Eva Marie's gimmick before she got suspended.
Well, he's got a stick,
Yeah.
like the Riddler,
Yeah.
kind of.
And every time he's supposed to wrestle, something happens.
And he points a stick and says, "I'm Kurt Hawkins."
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be entertaining, and it's not.
It's just obviously a desperate attempt for Kurt Hawkins to take whatever gimmick they can give him and run with it.
Here's the bigger question. Why the fuck is Kurt Hawkins back? Like, why did they feel the need to re-sign that guy? You got EC3 and fucking TNA, but we need Kurt Hawkins back. Because, Jesus Christ. I'm just... Sometimes
I didn't know you had such disdain for Kurt Hawkins.
I'm just at a loss sometimes.
Him and Mr. Broski were a pretty good tag team. Former tag champs.
Ugh.
You all right?
When they were the twin edges. That was awful. I hate that era of wrestling. That's like... I hate it more than 95. And I could watch 95 any day over that shit. I just can't do it.
Ryder and Hawkins for president.
I mean, God, bring some of these fucking guys up from NXT. Joe isn't here yet. Hopefully this is his last title shot coming up. But no, let's get Kurt Hawkins. Well, I think put some butts in the seats, won't it? Now I'm fired up. Fucking Kurt Hawkins. With a stick. Fucking stick.
Well, I think in rebuttal to your TNA comment there, I think they're saving a lot of these people for the Rumble. Like, I think you see Joe coming in at the Rumble. Some other guys as well. So, calm down. Good God.
I'm good.
You have some. Do we need to do a segment every week on disdain for Kurt Hawkins? Would that make you feel better?
I could do a whole show on my disdain for Kurt Hawkins.
That'll just be a new segment.
And his
Why
hipster
Travis?
haircut and his
Why
beard
Travis hates Kurt Hawkins
and his
every
stick.
week? You could do a segment on the stick. You can do whatever you need to get off your chest.
Really, seriously, have you seen these vignettes for Kurt Hawkins? They're not entertaining. They're supposed to be. It's supposed to make you chuckle. And it just makes you pissed off. For one, he looks just like Heath Slater. We got a Heath Slater. He's got the same fucking tights and everything. Unless they tag him with Heath Slater, why is he here?
Well, that would do great for Heath's career. He's finally on the upside, and you're going to put him with fucking Kurt Hawkins.
Maybe we'll get that big reunion with Zack Ryder.
All right.
They'll grow their fucking hair long
Sure,
again.
sure Eric Amar would be happy about that. He's a broski.
He is a broski.
Montreal broski, but that's still a broski. I guess Canadian broskies count.
Speaking of Eric Amard, little gauntlet been thrown your way from that show.
Yeah,
What's going on over there? Because I didn't know anything about it.
Well, the other day, Eric had posted on his Facebook, because him and I are Facebook friends. He's one of the few guests that I can stand. He posted on his Facebook that he needed an emergency guest that day for his wrestling podcast. So I volunteered nicely. I was trying to be a gentleman. I said, I'm down. And he said that I was not going to be on the show because Elliot was not on the show that week. Evidently, he wants to save me for when his British buddy Elliot is back on the show because he thinks Elliot's going to put me in my place.
Well, here we go right now. I'll even chop it out, make something extra. If you want to throw your gauntlet down to Elliot over on First Thing in the Morning on Kayfabe Today, shout out to them. Good stuff. But here's you have the floor right now.
Look, I don't ever back down from any kind of challenge, especially when it comes to wrestling. So, Eric, Elliot, whenever you want me on that show, just let me know. I'll gladly bring Travis along. We can have a little tag match if you like. Because I promise you guys aren't going to like it. I know you think your British buddy Elliot is high and mighty with his wrestling knowledge because he watches every show, this and that. But trust me, I can hang with anybody in the world on wrestling knowledge. That's all I got to say. Bring it.
Very good. I'm not here to cause waves, but I'll be there if you need me.
Yeah, tag partner.
Yeah, I can talk about the Steiner brothers. I can talk about Great Muta. I can go all over the place.
I like
Doesn't
it.
matter.
I think we're going to dominate.
Just don't put Kurt Hawkins in a question.
Why? You know, obviously you have a lot of Kurt Hawkins knowledge.
Ugh. Here we go.
That's how you know you're a real wrestling fan.
Hell in a Cell this Sunday, Michael. Let's get right into our predictions. Let's start from the bottom. Now we're here to the top. TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight title. Hopefully no more horrible video game themed promos. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What they gave TJ Perkins to talk about?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Kind of sucked, dick. Jesus. But
Apparently, Tuna Meltzer reported, Michael, Vince not happy with the way the Cruiserweights have been going over with the crowd. And my response is, no fucking shit. Look how you booked it. You fucked it up already.
You basically have 6 cruiserweights, and you put them in a match together. You kind of just throw them together every week without any kind of storyline besides the title.
You fucked it up.
So you have, like, team good guys against team bad guys, basically, and that's all you've been putting over. How are we supposed to get invested?
There's no stories for these guys like on the CWC, the vignettes.
Yeah,
How
are we supposed to get invested in these guys when you're not really pushing their characters along any? It's just kind of like a continuation of the CWC. Hey, this guy was born in Baltimore, Maryland. This guy's 37 years old. This guy, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it hasn't really grown any as far as, I think they've been very lackluster with how they presented it. I don't like the fact that they have to change the color of the banner on the outside of the ring every time too. What is it, Sin Cara?
It doesn't need to be its own thing.
Christ.
Make it blend in with the show. That's what WCW did with the Cruiserweights. They just made it part of Nitro.
Yeah, they haven't done this with the women's division. I don't know why they have to do it with the Cruiserweights. You know what I mean? I think the women's division has more of a backstory than the Cruiserweights. That's sad.
It does. It totally does.
So if you want us to get invested, Vince, put some fucking time and effort into it.
I feel like this is a never-ending revolving door. Like a year ago this time, we were complaining the same thing about the women not getting enough time.
Yeah.
And now here we are, they're getting, but now we're complaining about the Cruiserweights. You know what I mean? I feel like next year it'll be something else.
Well, why can't we get rid of the fucking Braun Strowman squash match every week and give them some more time?
Why can't we just have 1 week a well-rounded good show consistently?
I don't think you've had one from either brand.
You haven't had one. Well, SmackDown's been way more consistent. It's faded off recently.
Yeah, but it's still not beginning to end entertaining.
The last good Raw we had was the first one of the new era where Finn Balor or Sasha Banks won the title for the first time. Also, this happened.
Kevin Owens.
That's something we failed to mention. We missed that since we last aired. Sasha Banks beat Charlotte again.
On Raw.
On Raw for the title.
Both times she's won the title has been on Raw.
What did it mean? We already saw it.
I mean, it was a hell of a match. The corkscrew that Charlotte did off the top to the outside was insane. It kind of missed, but it still looked good. Yeah. I hadn't seen a woman do that ever in WWE.
Yeah.
So it was one of those wow moments as far as the women's division went. And I thought it was a really good match, especially for a main event. I wasn't opposed to seeing that main event on Raw. But how many times are we going to put Sasha Banks over on Raw? What is she, like, second-class talent?
Yeah.
Is it going to be another Charlotte wins it back at the Hell in a Cell because Charlotte's undefeated on pay-per-view?
It has to be Sasha.
So,
let's get right into that. This Sunday, Hell in a Cell. Rumors are the women could be headlining it, like I said earlier.
Yeah. Well, we still have to go over who our predictions on the Cruiserweights.
Oh,
we didn't even go over the match.
I apologize. It's TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, a rematch for the Cruiserweight strap. Kendrick has definitely been going over more on Raws. He's been getting the better of Perkins in almost every encounter.
It's got to be Perkins.
I think that's what they're leading up to. I think Perkins is going to get him here.
Too soon.
And I just don't want Brian Kendrick as my Cruiserweight champion. Like I've stated before, I don't think he should be in the Cruiserweight division. He does not have a Cruiserweight style.
But, Michael, he's 37 years old.
Yeah, how many
times?
He
deserves it.
Well, we all know how old he is. What is he, Bob Backlund 2.0?
I'm 32.
Bob Backlund was 43 years old for fucking 5 years. Yep. Guy never aged.
He got a world title run for 8 days.
Yeah.
A couple days.
Yeah.
So he ran in.
He lost it in fucking 7 seconds.
I think we're both going with TJ Perkins.
I like TJ in this one. I'm hoping it's going to be a better match than the last one they had.
If they give it more time, for one.
To be honest, I don't think this is a good stylistic match for Perkins to really shine.
They mesh well?
Yeah, I don't. I like Perkins a lot better with somebody like Cedric Alexander.
I think that falls totally on Kendrick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
don't think he's as good as he used to be.
I think the most over Cruiserweight guy right now is Cedric Alexander. Why doesn't he have the belt? I think he's the most exciting guy to watch in the ring, in the division. Not that T.J. Perkins is boring, but I would like to see Cedric Alexander maybe as a heel if you're going to keep C.J. Perkins a babyface. Have him turn heel. Get something fresh for the cruiserweight. It's almost like, hey, we're bad guys. Hey, we're good guys. We're going to go against each other. Can we get something fresh?
Yeah.
Can we get maybe a turn or a swerve, something interesting?
Make us invested.
Yeah, instead of 6-man tags every week, it's really getting old.
Now, for me, my favorite, I'm pretty sure you're the same. Rich Swann is my favorite to watch. He's probably the most entertaining.
He's entertaining, but my favorite is Cedric Alexander, at least from what I've seen.
Rich Swann,
But
dancing
Tony
machine.
isn't bad either.
Tony Nese.
Yeah, I like
talent.
him. I think he did a nice 450.
He kind of reminds me of Neville in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
His
His looks Neville-ish, but he doesn't look so weird.
I think he's more marketable than Neville.
Yeah, he doesn't have such an ugly face.
Not only that, height, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Neville
There's something about
Neville-
Neville that company just doesn't see.
Neville should be a cruiserweight anyway.
I think he will be.
It's just inevitable. You're welcome.
Will you be serious? That was awful.
That was awesome.
I'm editing
That was
that out.
fucking awesome.
Well,
You know it.
the first.
Say it was awesome. Say it.
Nope.
Say it.
It was awesome. You
Thank
happy?
you.
I didn't mean it, but I said
I don't
it,
give
so
a
we
shit.
can
You
move
said
on.
it. Said it.
The first ODB guy we've seen come from the main roster of the Cruiserweight division, Sin Cara, is now in the Cruiserweight division. I believe Kalisto is on his way too. So,
God. Yippee. Hopefully they're jobbers. Or maybe they're going to do a cruiserweight tag team division.
I could see that. You know,
But how much time can you really give the
at
cruiserweights?
that point, just give it its own show. You know what I mean? Charlotte and Sasha inside the Hell in a Cell possible main event with the speculation, Michael.
I hope not.
How do you think this match is going to go?
I think we talked about this a little bit before the show. I don't think it's going to go over very well. I mean, I'm hoping to be wrong on this. But like I said, I think it's just a size thing for me in a Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks is 100 pounds. Charlotte's 140.
Yeah.
How many exciting moves can you really have in a cell
If
match?
you throw them into the cage,
And you know it's not going to be a bloody match. It's women.
Yeah.
They don't do that. That's just, that's uncalled for, especially in this day and age with women and domestic violence and all that. If you're going to have a bloodbath with 2 women in there, I don't think that's going to go over very well.
yeah.
Especially
Do
when
you think they'll
especially
go
when
to the top?
ESPN devotes a segment every Wednesday on SportsCenter to WWE. So
Yeah.
it's finally mainstream the way Vince wants it. It's on,
He doesn't want any controversy.
no, he wants to stay politically correct.
Stay the course.
Yeah. So I just don't see how this match could why do they need to have it in a cell?
Do they go on the top at least? They do a spot up top.
There's rumors that Charlotte wants to jump off the top of the cell and do that corkscrew like she did on Raw.
Yeah.
But how would that be possible? Unless there's 7 women out there to catch her, I don't trust it.
Here's my head scratcher. You got to think when Sasha Banks first had to leave when she was injured, they panicked. They didn't know what to do. Then you get her back. She wasn't as. Then you put her right in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the only way I could see that move going over is if somehow other women came down and were there to catch her, because Sasha Banks can't catch her.
No.
From
She
the
can't
top
even
of the-
catch her from the top
No.
rope. She botched the
Yeah.
dive.
So I mean, what are you going to do with that? So that's the only way I could see that going over. You need an "Oh my God" moment in that match, for it to go over, because otherwise it's just going to be kind of a boring.
It's going to be a why
is there a cell?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure this is a Hell in a Cell match also. The U.S. title.
Who do you like in that match, Travis? Banks or Charlotte?
I like Banks. I think they have to put Banks over this time. They can't keep doing this slingshot back and forth with the belt bullshit, or the fans aren't going to care anymore.
Well, I'm going the other side. I'm going Charlotte.
I think it's going to be Banks, and then I think Banks is going to turn heel, and that's going to segue into Bayley and Sasha by Rumble time. I think that's where we're going to be. I think by then it's going to be a lot better than it is now.
I could see it going that way, except not for the belt. I think Charlotte wins the belt back.
We'll see. And that's if they book it like that,
And then
they're playing with fire as far as they're.
Bayley and Sasha going at it, or whatever. You could almost do that with Charlotte as well.
Sasha works as a heel best.
Mm-hmm.
I just think.
I do too.
Rusev and Roman Reigns. Is this a Hell in a Cell match for the
Yes,
U.S. title?
it is a Hell in a Cell match.
Another time, another match. Let's just put a cage around it. I don't really care at this
This is
point.
actually, I think, the most forfeiting Hell in a Cell match on the card. I could see these 2 guys having a Hell in a Cell match more than any other match on the card.
Yeah.
I think just because of their style, their brawlers.
The build-up.
Yeah, as long as this rivalry's been going. I know a lot of people are getting kind of tired of it because Roman Reigns, I know we discussed, has gone over every fucking time. But I like the fact that they have a proven rivalry against each other that did take a little bit of a break in between, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I do like that. I like that it's been a rivalry that's going on for longer than 2 seconds. And I would like to see more back and forth in the rivalry. I know we complain about 50-50 booking a lot, but this one has been so one-sided.
Yeah.
And I think Rusev needs that U.S. belt a lot more than Roman Reigns does. So I'm actually excited for this match. I think this is going to be one of your better Hell in a Cell matches of the night. Just because of the styles of the guys, I think it's going to go over well. I think it's going to be bloody, hopefully. I think you might see some stuff that you haven't seen from these guys, maybe some risky moves.
Maybe.
You could see them definitely getting out of this cage somehow, maybe with a Roman Reigns spear through the cell
I can see
where
that.
it breaks, and then they go outside and do some stuff. But maybe that opens the door for later Hell in a Cell matches of the evening where that cell's broken and more possibilities. That's how I would book things. I don't know. I guess I just have more of an open mind as far as what you could do with this.
No, I could see all that happening.
So-
I guess I'm just not. I don't care.
My prediction on this one, I mean,
Rusev?
I'm going with Rusev.
Rusev?
Rusev?
Can actually say Rusev in the form of a question, and it's right.
Yep.
Rusev?
Rusev.
I'm going with Rusev too.
We're both picking Rusev.
Well, I
He's
also-
got to win sometime.
I want him to win.
Yeah.
Rusev's awesome.
I like Rusev.
He deserves
A
better.
lot of people shit on Rusev, but I think what he's done with Roman Reigns has really elevated both of them. I think Rusev is a very underrated talent in the company. I'm starting to see him as an upper echelon talent in the ring, and I don't mind his character. I know it's kind of old school heat as
Yeah.
far as heel heat.
Sometimes that works.
I like it.
Doesn't matter what era.
I could see him going, if he doesn't win this belt, I could see him in a main event picture if they put it on a babyface. But besides that,
Maybe a Sami Zayn.
yeah,
I could see a Sami Zayn feud. Zayn getting the belt.
yeah.
Something like that. A lot of people say that a lot. Like the USA gimmick, it's tired, it's played out. But even the Attitude Era slipped that in. You had the Heart Foundation America stuff. You had the Truth Commission. You remember those guys?
Yeah.
Speaking of Kurgan, shout out to your boy. Debuted in the Truth Commission. Then he went to wear pajamas in the oddities with ICP. God, the Attitude Era had its good, but god damn.
It had some
The
bad.
bad is not talked about enough. Shout out to Wrestling with Regret, by the way.
Yeah.
Brian Zane retweeted one of our links to our videos, and that was awesome.
Awesome.
I love,
Thank you, Brian.
Love Wrestling with
I
Regret.
watch your show every week, actually.
It's good stuff over there. So
So-
keep up the good work. Big fans over here.
We strive to make our show as good as yours. So he's one of the few people I have respect for in this line of work.
That's your boy Tom Cushney. Gauntlet issued to Mr. Tom Cushney from Slam Pigs. No response.
Of course not. Tom Cushney's Mr. High and Mighty Pizza Face.
Dust in the wind.
Tom Cushney I have zero respect for. The only reason I ever watched the Tom Cushney show was to just hear who won the match. Because any opinion he had was total crap. He just strikes me as like a 15-year-old kid that doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. I don't think he would belong on the show, but if he would like to come and debate with me, I'll try to understand what he's saying.
Well, you understood enough to listen to him every pay-per-view.
Hi, Tom here.
I mean, you can get your
Welcome
results
to-
anywhere.
Yeah.
Why'd you keep choosing Tom Cushney?
because he was one of the first ones that came up.
It's because secretly I think you like British people, and they're warm and inviting to
I don't.
you. And
I
they're
think it's
soothing.
much cheaper for them to get ad time on their shows so that more people can see them. So, just my opinion. I know how much it costs in this country to get ads on your show to get more people to visibly be able to watch it.
True that.
So,
The New Day. Putting the belts on the line, Michael. The streak is on the line against Cesaro and Sheamus. What?
this whole fucking thing makes no sense to me. Really, out of all the teams in the division, we're going with Cesaro and Sheamus. We're going to put them together as a team. Why in the hell do they keep pushing Cesaro down? I thought he was finally turning a corner as a singles star. I finally thought he was going to get up there in a singles push. Nope. We can't figure out what to do with him, so let's put him in a tag team with Sheamus.
Why is he on SmackDown? Why is he even on Raw?
I don't know.
Not needed.
Complimentary talent.
Makes me sad.
I mean, since the brand has split, I know it's only been, 3-4 months?
yeah.
We
3
haven't,
months.
we haven't really seen a whole lot of different guys going for different belts. It's been pretty much the same, especially on
seen,
Raw.
yeah.
Especially on Raw. And on SmackDown, they have mixed it up. I mean, the title has already changed hands with Styles winning it. Same with the Intercontinental belt. Now Ziggler wears it.
Raw's going through a lot too with the Universal title. You had Balor injured, then you had the Owens Triple
Yeah.
H turn. I mean, it's had its moments.
And then you haven't seen anything from Triple H since. I guess we're
Exactly.
still waiting on that. if it ever comes to. I'm hoping.
They got to stop doing that stuff. They have to follow up the next night on Raw because more eyes are invested the night after a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just let it linger like a fart, you know? You want to, I don't know.
Let it linger.
Well,
I don't mind so much that you let it linger, but not so goddamn long. Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah, of all the teams that the new, I thought it was going to be the Club for sure in the past 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, but I guess I think the company's really getting stale on them, to be honest.
I have a bad feeling.
I got a feeling they could be on their way out when their contract
The Club.
expires. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they've been, I don't want to say a flop, but I don't think that they've been as worthwhile as the company thought.
Do you think they are?
I don't think this is the right company for them. Just with their gimmick, I think they're much more suited to an older audience.
New Japan.
I think they've
Ring
been
of Honor,
I think they've been kind of handcuffed as to their characters.
TNA.
Yeah, I think they've just been very handcuffed with their characters to where they can't really shine that well in a PG environment. That's my opinion. Could be wrong.
Well, and they also needed to stay as hired muscle for AJ Styles.
Yeah, and you splitting them up right after they debut, that made a bunch of sense, huh?
It's like the NWO debuts, and then you break them up a week later.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We're going to split them up.
Well, that was fast. But of all the teams, I have a bad feeling it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus winning those belts. And it's going to be that whole, like, Team Hell No thing where, like, 2 enemies have the belts. It's going to be awful. And this whole fucking reign is going to be for nothing.
Maybe the New Day splits.
Yeah.
Or maybe it sets it up for Enzo and Cass to win the belts.
Maybe.
And like I said months ago,
Then you made Cesaro a heel again, basically. Is what they're doing.
I mean, that's what they're doing now. But I mean, I think this sets up a possible Enzo and Cass New Day feud at a big pay-per-view, like a WrestleMania. Could you imagine them going out on a mic?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like fucking saliva drooling.
We'll see.
So
They've gone at it before on Raw. The crowd was kind of split.
yeah, but I think that would be a more WrestleMania worthy tag title match. And I don't think, because you know how they get gimmicky with the tag titles at WrestleMania. It's always like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way.
Never
or
be a singles.
Yeah. Or an elimination, like a Royal Rumble style match.
Gauntlet or something like that.
Battle Royal, you know what I mean? This could be an actual one-on-one tag team match for the titles that would be anticipated, worthwhile watching. Triple W's.
Now, who do you think comes out of this the winner? Unfortunately, I'm going to say Cesaro and Sheamus.
I'm going New Day. I still think they hold on to the belts. But I think this sets up a rematch at some point. And I do think Cesaro and Sheamus are the ones that are going to take it. Maybe even if just for a little while.
It sucks.
They'll take it at Survivor Series. Maybe run with it to the Rumble. And then, you know, either New Day or Enzo and Cass comes up and wins the belts from them. And then the New Day, maybe Cesaro and Sheamus get so mad that they injure the New Day in some way. Like Big E gets injured again.
Yeah.
Then Enzo and Cass step in, get the titles.
Then you have an official Cesaro heel turn.
Yeah. Then you have the New Day returning, all healed, and they want their belts back. And Enzo and Cass are the ones with them. That's something I could see happening as far as booking wise. But that would be me. I know you're not a fan of the babyface versus babyface match, but I think especially at a big
they've
show,
ruined every other option at this point.
I think at a big show like a WrestleMania, it could really work. And I think it would be probably one of the most anticipated tag title matches you've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So
at this point, I don't see why they wouldn't do it.
I mean, it's kind of like the same situation they're in with SmackDown, with American Alpha. I think they're definitely like putting
They're saving that.
Yeah, like they've definitely like pulled them back a little bit.
They're not even putting them on TV right now. Really,
it's kind of to the point where they don't want to rush it, but you can't do that too much, or the people are like, what the fuck? So,
and then your main event, supposedly, Kevin Owens defending the title, the Universal title against Seth Rollins. Now this is interesting because this is recorded before tomorrow night's Raw.
Mhm.
Stipulation apparently, if Jericho beats Rollins, then it's a triple threat with Jericho.
Yep.
Now, let's say that happens. Let's just base this like it's a triple threat match. Who do you think comes out of that? The winner and the new champ.
The new champ. I see you're already going with not Mr. Owens.
Oh no, I didn't realize I said that honestly. So thank you for calling me out on that.
I think with the way the storyline's going, I could see Rollins winning it. Just because maybe Owens and Jericho get into it in the match, and it costs them both, and Rollins sneaks away with the victory, which sets up possible Rollins Triple H feud. Maybe there's continuation finally. There's so many different ways you could go with this. I think this is it's one of those things where it's kind of like, man, there's so many different ideas that are getting thrown around for this. I almost feel like WWE's in the same predicament. Like, there's so many different ways you could go with this to continue the Triple H feud with Kevin Owens and Jericho.
Do you think it's also they think Owens has been a bust as champion? They want to get that belt off of him?
I don't think he's been a bust. I don't like him in a suit to begin with, but especially when he wrestles in such a dingy outfit.
Yeah.
So you're wearing a cutoff.
Dingy. Well, you went low on him.
Yeah, well, he's wearing a cutoff T-shirt and some MMA shorts and some boots. So it just, I mean, it looks like something that you'd see an indie guy wear.
Yeah. There was a time period where all the indie guys dressed like the Hardys, remember? Like they all shopped at Hot Topic. And...
That was a sad day. But I see Rollins winning it. I hope. Nothing against Owens, but I think it just makes sense booking-wise.
I think there's a little bit more time left in Owens' reign. I think Owens holds on to it.
I just don't see Owens having that belt at WrestleMania.
I don't either. I don't think I'll have it at Mania, but we'll see.
But those are our Hell in a Cell predictions.
Not that excited about the show, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of, especially after the last one.
I haven't been excited for a show in a while.
Especially after No Moisey.
Since the brand split. Excuse me, that was my cup.
No Moisey was terrible.
No Moisey. That was a Hell in a Cell predictions show. Michael, promo break time. We come back, match of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's
my match of the week.
I guess that's about it this week.
That'll be it.
Back to basics.
That'll do.
That'll do. So, what do you got?
Promo break this week. All right, this week's promo break. I'll go classic with you. I'll go with you. I'm going with, ooh, yeah, the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Specific one? Do I get to pick? Or
you can pick, since I got to pick the Roddy.
The coronation of the Macho King.
There we go.
And they crowned him the king in the big ceremony.
There you go. I like that.
Slam Pigs Podcast. We'll be right back.
Dang it!
Entourage. Their heads are bowed in reverence at the very slightest whisper of one name, exalting in his splendor, which is altogether fitting of the people and the land from whence he came. False monarchies are commonplace as kingdoms rise and fall, but I, the genius full of glory and renown, say the Macho Man is everything that everybody everywhere would ever want to wear a crown. I say this king deserves a queen beside him on the throne, and Sherry is the fairest in the land. Nobody else is worthy of this monumental honor and the regal splendor of his royal hand. We witnessed the dethroning of one Jim the Hacksaw Duggan, whose crown and robe are in a state of ravage. I now remove my mortar board and place it near my heart, and thus proclaim you Macho King Randy Savage.
The Macho King, Randy Macho. Wow. And Queen Sherry. Look at this. Look at that robe. And it says King on the back. I wonder if the King's going to share a few words with us.
Wait a minute. The $1 Million Man has a gift. A gift worthy only of a king. So to you, the newly crowned Macho King Randy Savage, I give you this gift. A king should never be without this golden scepter. Solid golden scepter.
Let's take a look at, wow. Take a look at that, Jesse. I'm speechless, McMahon. I mean, admit the $1 Million Man does truly have a heart of gold, doesn't he? How's the pocketbook look going? I'm not so sure about the heart. And besides, I thought you said you were speechless. The new Macho King, Randy Savage, along with the first queen of the World Wrestling Federation, Sensational Sherry, being congratulated by all of his cohorts.
And we're back.
Ooh, yeah.
That was the
Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah.
do a horrible Macho.
You don't do bad.
That was the Macho Man getting crowned the king. What did you think of the Macho King gimmick? It was silly as hell.
I didn't like it. I liked him much better as just a heel Macho Man. I don't think he needs to be Macho King.
Then you brought Zeus into the picture, and it was all downhill.
That was
You
just
looked like you wanted to puke literally when I said that.
Yeah, it's just a bad time in wrestling.
Well, let's talk about a good time in wrestling. Good match this week, and I already know what you're going to pick. You told me during the break. Michael, what's your match of the week?
Well, since we got Hell in a Cell coming up, I'm going to go with one of the most memorable Hell in a Cell matches ever. I believe it was the very first Hell in a Cell match. Shawn Michaels, HBK, taking on The Undertaker back at
Bad Blood.
Bad Blood, the very first Bad Blood, I believe.
97.
Yes. And this match not only was memorable because of the match itself, but there was a debut. I'm sorry. I had a little
Debut.
I had a little
Logan.
Logan Mears thing there. Debut of a mainstay in the company that it turned out to be. Kane made his debut in the company this night as well, costing Taker the match. Shawn gets the victory. I'm not going to go over too many in-depth details in this match because I think most people, if they haven't seen it, just look it up. It's everywhere. This match was amazing. This was definitely, this was the first Hell in a Cell match, and I don't think anyone after it ever really lived up to this one.
Yeah.
A lot of people point to the Mick Foley Taker match, but like you said earlier, it's kind of a spot fest.
Yeah, definitely.
Wasn't exactly a technical masterpiece, but there's been some good ones, though. You had Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. You had Randy Orton and Undertaker. You had a lot of Undertaker in these Hell in a Cells. It's funny that they have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and no Undertaker.
Right.
But
Well,
this was a hell of a match.
it was. This was my favorite Hell in a Cell match of all time. Also, this match was shocking. Like, when it was announced at the time, you're kind of like, oh, cool, they just put a roof on it.
Yeah.
You never expected what happened. They went on top of the cage. You never saw this before.
Yeah.
Even when in WCW.
See the cage give a little bit.
Yeah. I think the most you saw was, like, remember WCW, the War Games, where, like, Brian Pillman versus Sid, like, Pillman would hang on to the cage. No, it was definitely one of the first holy shit moments I ever recall in wrestling.
It was a great time in wrestling as well. This was the start of the Attitude Era.
Yep.
So,
This was a month before Bret Hart left the company.
yeah, Bret Hart was still the champion, I believe.
Yep.
He had
Feuding with the Patriot.
Yeah, he had just won it at SummerSlam off of Taker because of Shawn Michaels, and that's what led to this match. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
This was also like the second.
This was the main event.
Yeah.
It was even after the title match with Bret Hart.
This is also a time period where Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, it wasn't like it became in later years. This is only like the second time they'd ever wrestled. So it was a huge deal.
First time they wrestled, Shawn
And
Michaels
this was
got
like
hurt.
the very beginning of DX. This is so early in DX, you had Rick Rude in there.
Yeah.
So
I think this might have been the first time they'd actually wrestled on a pay-per-view.
no, Ground Zero a month before.
Oh,
There
that's
was a
right.
schmoz,
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
The Taker did that big dive that
Yep,
Roman Reigns
you're
totally
right.
ripped off and does
Gotcha.
now.
Yep.
I hate that, by the way.
Yeah.
We never talked about that.
Yeah.
Just
There's a lot
giving-
of rip-offs.
It makes Taker seem less special.
It
If
does.
somebody, like, I don't know.
Taker's a big man to be doing that.
Taker's one once in a lifetime athlete. Big man that can move like a littler guy. Just all around good. Pretty much everything.
You could put him in there with almost anybody, I thought. I thought he could put on, except for
well, you
Hulk
put him in
Hogan.
there with Kamala, and
Except
it
for
wasn't
Hulk Hogan.
Giant Gonzalez.
Well, come on. Who could make John Gonzalez look like a fucking $1,000,000? He could barely walk, for God's sake.
Rest in peace. Probably the most disturbing wrestling outfit of all time is the
Yeah,
Giant
it was
Gonzalez.
a little too revealing for my liking.
That's one of those things in wrestling. If I'm going back and watching an old tape, and Giant Gonzalez comes out in his little hairy penis get up, that's exactly what it was. It was a big hairy penis. Somebody
They didn't
sprayed.
show the penis.
But it was just a big line of
It's
hair.
a big bush.
Yeah. His big vagina. This is his big vagina. The worst outfit of all time, honestly.
How do they make that outfit? That's a big man to be putting that outfit on.
did Pat Patterson think of that outfit? Not to be a prick.
He had to.
But really, oh man,
He wants it sacked.
that's one of those times in wrestling I'm watching a little tape. John Gonzalez comes out in his hairy vagina outfit, and I'm embarrassed. You know what I mean? It's one of those moments, like the Doinks versus fucking Doinks at Survivor Series. That's an embarrassing moment.
Doinks versus the Lawlers.
That or the first one in '93 against Bam Bam Bigelow and slipping on banana peels and Men on a Mission and Jesus
And a
Christ.
midget match at the next Survivor Series. It just got better.
This is how we're closing the show, by the way, this week. Once again, we're at the end of the road like Boys to Men on the show,
I
Mike.
don't think so. I think there's some issues that need to be discussed. You've been kind of beating around the bush the whole show about your little surprises that you had for me.
I didn't really have a surprise for you. The surprise for the listeners, mainly. Michael and I talked off air. We did have a meeting with our attorneys. Did come to terms on some things. And some things are going to change as far as post shows. It's pretty much the biggest thing we come out on this. Michael, what's going on with the post shows from now on?
We've received some feedback, and as far as my personal opinion and Travis's, nothing against Logan, but I think we need to mix it up a little bit as far as guests on the post shows. So we are going to be having some different guests on post shows. And to be honest, Travis, I think we need to be a little more interactive with these guests. I think we need to maybe put it out there a little more. Who wants to be a guest on this show? We can make it happen. Let's mix it up. We don't always have to have the same 4 people. We could have Corey the Bagel Guy. We could have Eric Amard. We could do whatever we want with these post shows. We could also have maybe a Melody. We could also have maybe a Sasha Janine. We could have some of these people. Maybe if Hoppin' Bruce Biggs ever grew a set of nuts, we could have him on the show.
Doubtful.
Highly doubt it. But, I think we should mix it up a little bit. Travis agrees, and we have it in writing. Both have signed it. There will be more mixing it up as far as post-show guests go.
So on our next post show, no Logan. Hopefully we'll have another guest on the Hell in a Cell post show this Sunday.
Yes, that'll be this Sunday. Anybody, let us know. If you want to possibly be a guest on one of our shows, let us know. We can make it happen.
But Logan will be back in the future. Just want to mix it up for a while.
Yeah.
Michael's also agreed to drink a little bit less. I'm going to do my thing a little bit less. But not totally cut back. We're still going to be ourselves. But we both had to agree on some things we weren't fans of. It's part of the agreement. Everything's finalized. Things seem to be back in order on Slam Pigs. Michael, show 31? 32.
32.
32's in the books, for the most part.
That is it for this week, guys. That is all.
Look for Michael coming up on the Heart of the Name podcast in the coming weeks. I've had some delays on that show, too, with me being out, being cooped up.
Talking Super Nintendo sports games.
Best Super Nintendo sports game. So look for that episode. Until next time, I got nothing, Michael.
That's all from us this week, folks. Make sure to check us out. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I don't do the Twitter, guys. In response to that, I have had some listeners asking me, when am I going to get a Twitter account? I am going to work on that just for you guys, okay?
That way you can yell bad things at Kurt Hawkins' Twitter account.
So he can block me.
Or point his stick at you.
God, we need to have that. We need to have a segment for you so you can get that off your chest every week. Because obviously you have a lot of pent-up frustration against Kurt Hawkins and his stick.
I would rather see Chris Masters versus Chavo Guerrero than Kurt Hawkins.
That's awful.
Yep.
Stop it.
Isn't it? Isn't it awful what they're giving us with Kurt fucking Hawkins?
Jesus, calm down, Travis. But that's it for this show. Go ahead and play my little clip. Hey guys, Mike here from the Slam Pigs Podcast, reminding you, as always, check us out on Twitter, @Slam Pigs Podcast. Check us out on Facebook, The Slam Pigs Podcast. Or, as always, check us out on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. Hibiki TMD is where it's at. Until we meet again, oink oink.